but I think it's something we ought to encourage more people to think about. Secondly, I referenced this program that I started, which was aimed at single parents, but it doesn't have to be. It was philanthropic dollars, and we did not give people grants for room, board, and tuition. We gave them grants for living expenses. Because, you know, if you can't get to class because your car breaks down, you're not going to be able to continue your education. If you're a single parent and you can't find affordable child care, you're not going to be able to continue your education. If you have some medical emergency and you're an uninsured student, you could be out as well. So I think you're exactly right. We need to look for some creative ways, get some private dollars in to supplement the public dollars that I'm talking about with tuition tax credits and other things. And I would just throw that out as an idea, because a lot of students, and I respect this young man standing up. It's like when I was telling you the story about how I felt so lonely and homesick when I was in college because I really didn't know if I would fit in. Well, a lot of students feel that way, and they think they're the only person who is struggling with these kinds of issues. But if we kind of made it more transparent and said, look, we know we can help more people, let's get creative about it, I think that would be a way of helping tide people over. And then you pay back. It's like a revolving loan fund. You know, when you get ahead, you do that. And I think we ought to look at ways of doing this, because that's one of the main reasons a lot of people drop out. Their living expenses explode on them. Their emergency costs explode on them. And there are a lot of philanthropic people in this state, like there are around the United States, and I think we ought to think of ways we can help students more. I'll go across this row first. So I see that hand right there. Yes.
Hi, I just wanted to ask. I'm an aged out foster youth, and I wanted to know, there are other states that are helping age out foster youth pay for college and everything like that, and I wanted to ask how you were planning on helping with the expensive for an independent aged out foster youth.
Let me thank you for asking that question again. That's a courageous question, and I thank you for that. You know, I have spent a lot of my career as a lawyer representing and working for kids who are in the foster care system. And what she's referring to is what's called an aged out foster youth. What that means is that you're in the foster care system, you haven't been adopted into a permanent home. It's not a good idea for a lot of reasons to return to your birth home. And the foster system says you're finished when you turn 18 or graduate from high school, in some states, whichever happens first. I have represented foster kids who turn 18 and they have a semester left in high school, and the state sends a worker with a big black garbage bag to wherever the foster child is living. It says, put your belongings in this, you're on your own. I've known a lot of foster kids who have been very resilient and resourceful and been able to survive that, but I've known a lot who haven't been. A lot of the kids who age out of foster care, they finish high school and they want to go to college. Now imagine if it's as hard as it sounds for all of you, what it's like. You have no family, you have no credit, the state has supported you, and now it's over. So I have focused on helping a group you may have heard of. It's got kind of an unfortunate name, but it's a good group called the Orphan Foundation. The Orphan Foundation, and if somebody in my staff will find this young woman, I will connect you up to the Orphan Foundation, which helps to pay for college costs for aged out foster kids. It's not an issue we think about a lot, but something on the order of 20 to 25,000 kids age out of foster care every year in America. And the ones who do get to go to college, I try to have a foster care student in college be an intern for me, and I've had a couple of great young people who who have interned in my Senate office. And one thing you don't think about, which they've really educated me on, is they go to college, which is a huge accomplishment. Where do they go for the holidays? Dorms closed. You know, I had one young woman say, all I ever wanted was to have someplace to go for Thanksgiving. And so I think that this is another area where if we can pay a little more attention to each other, we can listen to each other, we can try to help each other. You never know what that help might mean to somebody, and then how that person in turn can go and help somebody else. So make sure that you connect up with somebody on my staff, okay? Thanks. Oh my goodness, so many hands. I saw your hand go up a few minutes ago. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Senator. My name is Dustin Siggins, and I'm a senior business major. I have two questions. The first is, you talk a lot about helping students, which is fantastic. Would you have to raise taxes to do this? And the second question is, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you supported raising minimum wage. And as a business major, I've been educated that this devalues the dollar, and it also puts a lot of small business people out of business, creating opportunities for big business. Would you like to care to comment on that?
I'd be happy to, and thank you, and good luck in your business career. The first question, how would I pay for what I want to do for college? Well, I have proposed a number of ideas that I think are important for America, and I have put forth on my website, HillaryClinton.com, how I would pay for each and every one of them. Here's how I would pay for improving affordability and access to college. I would freeze the estate tax at what would be the 2009 levels. In other words, if you have an estate when you die of $7 million or less, you will not pay taxes. If you have an estate more than $7 million per couple, you will. And I happen to believe that inherited wealth and concentrated wealth in America is not good for America. And I am supported in that belief, not just by Democrats, but remember the estate tax was first proposed by progressive Republicans who believed in a meritocracy, who understood that if we began to move toward concentrated, inherited, generational wealth, we would begin to undermine the motivation of the meritocracy. So the estate tax, if we freeze it at the $7 million level, and please go out and tell people, there are people who make $50,000 a year who are worried they're going to be taxed when they die. The Republicans have done such a good job confusing this issue and frankly misleading people. So you can tell them that under me, unless they make $7 million, they have an estate of $7 million, there are no taxes. But if we tax the estates above $7 million, that will bring in $400 billion in 10 years. That's how much money we're